Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Behind the Signs.
Hello.
Your sign shop podcast. Should we have like a little blurby thing after that? Like your sign shop podcast. The podcast for sign shops.
I don't know, it sounds really douchey, so let's not do that.
Okay. Anyway, Behind the Signs. Your stories, your questions.
I don't like that either.
Let me just think about that for a sec.
Maybe on the next episode.
All right, we're going to
stay tuned.
Hey, if you have any suggestions for like our little tagline, Behind the Signs, elevating the sign industry together.
Don't say it out loud. I literally hate hearing it.
If you have any ideas for like how we should introduce the podcast, we're all ears. Put it.
Hey guys,
post it in the community. All right.
Okay.
So anyway, welcome everyone today to the podcast. I am Joe, your co-host.
I'm Liz.
And we are here because we love you very much.
We're here because I love him.
And I love you guys. And I love you too.
Oh, thanks.
All the love.
Yeah.
And we want to thank our sponsors today, Tavo.
Mm-hmm.
They're so generous with us and we appreciate it very much. So to learn more about Tavo, they bring you products like Sign Tracker, for example, so production management software, and you can learn more about that at sign-tracker.com or tavo.com. Check it out in the links. You can try Sign Tracker free and no obligation, and it's really helpful to your shop, especially if you're looking for the tools for quoting and organizing your job. So anyway, thank you, Tavo. We appreciate you.
Yep. And as always, thanks to you guys. Thanks for liking and subscribing and being here. If it weren't for you, I definitely wouldn't be doing this.
And asking questions, right? I mean, this is where all of this comes from. It comes from the questions that you guys have about the industry and the questions that you're asking each other. So we appreciate it very much. It gives us never-ending content.
Yeah. And I hate public speaking. So I literally would not be doing this if it weren't for you.
I'm trying to get better at public speaking, to be honest. I mean, all of my public speaking, other than when I was a kid, I did speak a lot more in public because I was a youth director at a church. And so I spoke at rallies and stuff.
Yeah, you say you hate public speaking, but then you really also enjoy it. So
well, I mean, I'm trying to get better at it because it was decades where all of my speaking was way more about just sales presentations, which we're going to talk about sales today.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
But really, like all of my public speaking was really more just like if I was in a room with some architects talking about what was happening with city code, or I was doing a pitch for a sign project with 2 or 3 contractors.
So you like public speaking?
No, but the settings were always very small, right?
And you like that?
Yeah, I liked the small settings. But now that we're doing this podcast, for example, we just had the opportunity to speak at Texas Sign Association together in a class that was about 25-ish. It was not awful. It was very good.
I'm sure it went fine. I don't remember. It was all a blur for me. I hate public speaking.
You did so well.
Today, speaking of public speaking, like we said, we're talking about sales. So let's dive right in.
I just want, before I do that, I want to point out I wore this shirt today with the crazy scared cat because this cat looks like it was sprayed with water because I feel like this represents how you feel about sales.
It absolutely is a perfect depiction of how I feel about sales.
So this, I guess for me, I look at it like, and you might or might not agree with what I'm about to say, but
I probably won't.
When you think about your sign company, I want you to reframe your thinking just a little bit. And we'll talk about this when we have our next guest too, which is going to be great. But don't think of yourself as a sign shop first or a print shop first. Think of yourself first and foremost as a sales organization.
Oh,
but hear me out for a second. No, hear me out for a second.
Absolutely not.
All right. Because first of all, without sales, you have to bring business in, right? Mm-hmm. Every business has a funnel. And in our business, obviously, people come in the door, they ask for quotes, or you build relationships, whatever it is, and we'll talk about that. But how does everything at your shop work to support that funnel so that you can sell signs? And I think if I look back at our sign shop, and at first, when we first started, it was, oh man, you're so desperate. You're trying to get, and I started my career in the sign industry in sales too. So maybe I feel this way because of that. But if you consider yourself a sales organization before you do anything else, then everything you do, whether it's your marketing efforts, your job organization efforts, your hiring efforts. You go out and sell a job. You got to do that first. After you sell the job, you bring it in the door. What happens at that point? And so you develop systems to support that activity. But more than anything, you have to go out and get the next deal. So
hard disagree.
So that's how I always looked at owning a sign shop. And for better or for worse, the sign shop grew to over 10 million in sales and over a 10-year period, a little over 10 years and a little over 10 million. And then ultimately we sold the business. But I think, yes, there was a lot of systems around production and fabrication and hiring and training and all the stuff, but really everything we did kind of focused on supporting sales efforts.
So, unpopular opinion, I hate sales. We don't have a salesperson in our company. We have never had a salesperson.
But you're good at sales.
No.
Yes, you are.
We've never had a salesperson in our company.
You're good at sales.
No, I'm not. I'm good at building relationships, and that's very different.
But
no, we are not a sales organization. We are a subject matter expert. We sell solutions. We give solutions. We don't sell them. We provide solutions.
You provide solutions. Okay.
Someone comes to us with a problem and we solve it. That's how you sell it. You're solving a problem, but you're not selling yourself. Like if I had to go into a place and was like, buy my shit. Oh, in no way.
But you know what though? I'm going to tell you right now, you're a phenomenal salesperson because of everything you just said. Think about it. First of all, this is a great example. If you're a sign shop owner and you say to yourself, oh my God, I hate selling. The idea of being a slicky salesperson.
It's just the worst.
I skeeve it, as they say in Italian.
There are very few careers that seem worse to me.
But I would say, and there are sign shops that have traditional salespeople that go out and go to mixers and knock on doors and all that. And I think it's
great. That's
fine.
For them. I couldn't do it.
I think it always starts with everything you just said. You're the owner. You provide solutions. Mm-hmm. You build a reputation around providing solutions. And you talk to people about what your company does. You're passionate about your story. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the step one when I say that no one sells better than an owner. It's not so much you're going to put on the shiny shoes and this whatever your best sales face and you're going to go out and knock on doors. Although sometimes in the beginning maybe it takes a little bit of that, but it's more just being passionate about your story and what your company does.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
At the height of SignTech International, how many salespeople did you have on staff?
6.
Yeah. We have 0. We've never had one.
No.
We don't go out and sell. We don't. So I think what's important here is it works. It obviously works. The model
and it works for you too.
But it also works.
Yeah,
right.
It does.
And I think that for us, how I've always looked at it is we build relationships. We are a subject matter expert for people that need it. And we have built relationships strategically. There is strategy involved when you don't want to be a salesy type of company. So we've targeted our demographic. We have gone out and done like, hey, these are our capabilities when they've asked us to do that.
Okay,
but
let's stop for a second. So how do those people find you? Like say if someone invites you to come in and talk about your capabilities and what you do, how are they finding you?
Social media.
Okay.
We also don't advertise. So I think that it's important to note that most of our business comes from word of mouth.
Right. That's a sales channel, believe it or not.
Oh, it absolutely is. But someone else is doing the sales and I'm not. And that's what matters.
Social media is a sales channel.
Social media is a natural networking.
Right.
That's different.
It's a lead gen tool.
It can be. If used properly, it can be. But I think that it's misused a lot.
It is.
In ways where it's like, I do this, buy this from me. And sure, look, it works for influencers, right? Like they affiliate links, you have people that it obviously is great. For us in the company that we've built and the mottos we stand by, our company values, that's just not how we play the game.
But
it's still sales. I'm not dumb. Obviously, they have to know what we do, and we have to tell them what we do in order for them to buy things from us, and we have to pay our employees. So, yes, we do sell things, but for us, it's more about the importance of targeting the correct demographic and building relationships within that demographic. Okay. Whether we're going to their specific industry trade shows and giving talks.
That's what I was going to ask you.
We're going to their company and showing them capabilities, which we don't do as much anymore. We used to do in the beginning to kind of before
like lunch and learns sort of a thing.
Sort of, but we bring cookies instead of lunch because everyone loves cookies, and no one loves a to-go turkey sandwich. Like, it's just not good. Bring a cookie. Anyway, but I think that there are some companies that do more intense lunch and learns that are longer, and I get that. But for us, we would go there, we'd show them our capabilities, we'd always have a takeaway. So whether that's a book of like a very well designed book, we start with that, like of what we can do and how and why we're how we work and how our partnership would work with these people, and then. That was in the beginning. Now, since we've been around now for almost 10 years, and because of that, our social media networking has just very naturally built itself over time. We've never bought followers. We've never done any of that, but we've just been very consistent. We have a very strong brand voice. We, everything looks the same, but it's not prescribed. We're very humble. We're very reachable. Mm-hmm. And I think that we're easy to talk to.
And so, you guys kind of started in the beginning doing some of that. And so you found, and you gained traction, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's the big thing around sales. So for us, first of all, when I started my sign company, I was a salesperson. So I was coming out of a sales role at a sign company. My business partner was a salesperson, although he worked his way up through production and then into sales. And so when we left and started our own company, and we partnered with, back then was a wholesale company that we ended up acquiring, and then of course building our own company from that start. So we started off with a sales mindset. So I guess, that's the thing is you have to, it's how when you think about sales, I think number one, the owner tells the story the best. Your why, your passion, and maybe you have some internal whys, like I want to own this business and run this business and do well and serve others because I want something for my family. Mm-hmm. I want something for my kids. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's your internal motivation. And then maybe your external motivation is, look, I want to help other people be successful. And therefore I'm going to work really hard to build a business that serves others, that helps them to be successful in what they do, in our case, signs. And so, whether you're helping a new business get their doors opened, or you're helping somebody, even a birthday banner, I'm helping somebody have a celebration. Not that you guys do that kind of work, but a lot of people do. And so there's whatever your external motivation is, that better than anybody else. Mm-hmm. So as you get yourself out there in the community and start just talking about yourself and your passions and what you do, people will want to work with somebody that they like and that is passionate about what they do.
Do you know what's really funny that I've never thought of?
What?
Like, I've literally never put this together, but the way you've approached life, and the way I've approached life, like, you came in, your college education is religion with an idea or prospect of going into ministry, i.e. sales. Call it what you want, sales of religion, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. How else do you get people to sign up for your religion? You minister them.
Yeah, well, I love them.
Through ministry. Anyway, I, however, came up as a barber, which is just relationship building, one-on-one relationship building, and then got a degree in accounting, i.e. not talking to anyone ever again.
Crunching numbers.
Just living in spreadsheets, and then started a company.
All right, so, but let's go, yeah.
So very different, but also that I think that's very telling of how we approached our businesses. Mm-hmm. And again, I think both models work.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
but it's important. I think a lot of people just think that that's the way to do it. You have to have salespeople. You have to do lunch and learns. You have to go out and cold call. You have to go out and knock on doors, and you don't. Or you have to pay commissions, and we don't.
Yeah, and we did. We were very traditional. So we had, if we had 6 salespeople and we needed to make, $100,000, the math is going to be hard on this. So let's say 5 people. We had to make $100,000 a month in sales in order to make our budget and payroll and all that stuff. Then each salesperson had to bring in $20,000 a month worth of sales. I mean, it was that simple. So, and we had sales meetings. We did it very traditionally. We talked about the leads they had. We talked about what was about ready to close when we had our sales meetings once a week. So we did that very traditionally, not from day one, obviously. We built that.
I think it's just something that I didn't really think about. But for the people that do want to know, how do you structure commission for a salesperson? How did you structure commission?
We structured it 10% off cost of goods sold. So we did pay a base
salary.
And this is
regardless of their sales volume?
We're talking like 10 years ago. Yeah. So maybe more than 10 years ago. So we had a base of $1,500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it was definitely more than 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was more than 10 years ago now. $1,500 a month, plus obviously cell phone and, gas and mileage expenses, that sort of stuff. And then we paid 10% commission off cost of goods. So if it cost of goods sold. So what that means for us was if it cost, $100 to make the sign and $100 to install the sign, that's $200. They made $20 on that. And so that's pretty much how we operated it.
And then did you have a markup on top of that and they just didn't make a commission on that markup?
Right. Okay. That's how we did it. But other shops do it different.
They also allowed them to do spiff?
We did. And so
what is a spiff?
A spiff was we allowed sales reps. Not suggesting this is just what we did. We allowed sales reps to add additional funds to a job if they thought they could sell it. So if they added an extra $100 to the job, we would split 50-50 with them.
Oh, 50 for the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, other sign shops do it. All sign shops do it a little different. So I've had other sign shops where they basically get from the estimator a quote that says, look, with the company markup and everything, this job is going to it's a $200 job. We're just going to keep simple math here.
That's good.
And then sales reps can add whatever they wanted to that job as long as they don't blow the sale. So if the company said, if the sales rep says, well, I know I can sell this for $400, then they make $200. And that's how some companies do it as well. So the company knows it's making its margins. And I mean, I'm sure it's regulated and the owner has to sign off on it or whatever. Yeah. But I have heard some companies that do it that way. And then there's people that just do in-house sales where maybe they have quotas, but they make a salary. So you got to figure out what works for you. But I think when it comes to selling, again, the owner sells best in the sense that you know your mission, you know your why, and you're out there telling your story and you're building relationships, making connections. Number 2 is traction. So I went to some training for sales and I thought it was going to be this, really insightful thing. And at the end of the day, what it came down to was strategically throw some poop up against the wall and whatever sticks, double down on it, which I know doesn't sound like a scientific method for sales and marketing. But if you think about it, especially in the beginning, you've got to figure out what is going to work for you in your community. And it could be like we talked to, if you didn't catch the episode with Tammy Napolitano, she mentioned that she's super involved in her BNI group, Business Networking International. And there's chapters of that all over the place. And so she said that she gets a lot of her business through that. I've heard some people say that BNI doesn't work for me. I've tried it. And the other thing you might want to do too, I know we just had an episode on education, but SBA, a lot of times SBA will help assign a mentor. And so for Sign Tracker, I got a mentor through SBA and she was really helpful in kind of putting together a marketing strategy for Sign Tracker. But, obviously if it's for your sign shop, and a lot of times that's free. So a lot of grad students that are getting their PhDs or the MBAs, they have to do some time in volunteering and mentoring in SBA. So you could just ask like, hey, look, I need a go-to-market strategy for my sign company, and, do that. And, a couple things that worked really well for us, and I think I've talked about this before, is we did have our salespeople, and obviously we did do, like, local architects had trade shows and things like that. We did try to figure out where our target hung out. And sometimes that was little tabletop shows and, doing those traditional things. But the other thing that we did is we volunteered. And I don't know if you remember this from back in the Sign Tech days. I think you might have even come on a build with us, if I'm not mistaken. But
Habitat.
Yeah. So we really got involved with Habitat for Humanity. And this was over a course
Well, that's smart, because a lot of construction companies volunteer.
And architects.
Yeah. And then you meet people.
And it also,
that's the kind of networking that we would do too.
Yes. And those sorts of things work well. So for us.
To me, that's not sales. It is. But it's
networking, right? It's marketing.
Not cold calling sales.
It's not cold calling sales. But this is how we did it. And this is just a suggestion. So you can do it any way, whether it's through Habitat for Humanity or some other organization. But we started off by, we donated, every time a Habitat for Humanity house was built or a community was started, they would put up real estate signs, right? Your 4x8, 4x4 wooden post signs. Post and panel signs. Mm-hmm. And so and of course it would have, the different architectural firms and general contractors that were supporting, because a lot of those kinds of companies are involved in Habitat for Humanity. And of course we would have a little thing with our logo, sign donated by Sign Tech with our phone number. That's the first thing we did. The second thing we did is we started during work hours. Now, this is as we got a little bigger, so we had the ability to do this, but one of the owners, it was usually me, someone from the admin team, so office manager, accountant, bookkeeper, whatever, HR, and then usually one person from the shop, and then oftentimes one of the designers from the design team, or project manager. I think we would switch back and forth between a PM and a designer. And so there was always at least 4 of us, and we would go while on the clock. So we paid our employees their regular salary. We weren't asking them to sacrifice anything. And we would go out and we would do a build, would volunteer for a day and help on a build. A couple things that did was it built camaraderie with the folks in the shop, which was awesome. And it really bridged the two worlds, because oftentimes, especially sales and design and fabrication, they can kind of tend to get siloed. But the other thing too is it sort of helped us to, not that you want to toot your own horn, but kind of parade your values to the community.
Sure.
And so it just really helped us build bridges with, I just said to build bridges with each other internally, but externally with contractors, architects, especially businesses, because Habitat's a very high profile nonprofit. So because of that,
lots of businesses go to that. Lots of construction workers, lots of, like you said, architects. So you're obviously networking. Yeah. And again, that's something that
a lot of big tech companies.
I think that's something that we would do too, even as a non-sales organization. So I am still very anti what you said in the beginning. And it's not because it doesn't work for some people, it just doesn't work for us. And I do want to say that, like, for us, it's not just about the owners can sell best. That's actually not our motto either. But when it comes down to it, for us, what are you selling? What are you selling?
I mean, I think more than anything, I don't want to say anybody can make a sign, but really what you're selling is customer service and customer care.
Yeah, sure. We can get deep and heady, and that's fine. And I think that is true, right? You're selling a relationship, you're selling trust, you're selling a partnership.
Yeah.
But what are you bringing to the table? What are you selling?
I mean, a sign, ultimately.
You're selling a design.
Design, yeah.
Why is a salesperson selling that? Do they know how to talk about designs?
Mm-hmm.
Do they know how to talk to designers about designs?
That's always a trick.
It is. And the thing is, they don't. And there is nothing wrong with that. They're just not bringing the right people to the table. So I think that even if you do have a sales organization in the more traditional sense, like a sign company, have your salesperson bring a designer to their sales meeting. If that means they have to share a commission, or if that's how you're structured, The designer is the person that should be selling your solution, because at the end of the day, you're selling a design that is a solution to a problem.
Yeah.
And the only person that can talk about that is your designer. Why was it designed the way it was designed? And that brings up another issue for me for sales, and why we don't have a sales team. We don't sell everything.
Yeah.
We don't want to do every project. And how can you, if you have a sales team come in or working for you where they need to pay their bills, they need to have a commission, how can you say, that's not really in line with our values. That's not a project we're going to work on. And we are very particular with who we work with and what kind of projects we work on. And I know that's not the case for everybody, but it is the case for us. And I think that both options do work. They're just very differently structured. But I do think regardless of how you're structured, it's super important to understand that if you're selling, as you're selling, in whichever format you're selling, for signs, you need to have your designer present at that meeting, and you need to let them talk about the solution that you're presenting, because what that does is it changes the conversation from I'm selling you what you want to see to this might not be exactly what you want to see, but let me tell you why I did it. Let me tell you the problem it's solving. Well, it's helping the customer or the partner, as we call them, to see you as a subject matter expert.
I was just going to say too, that we did actually, as we started getting into the bigger construction projects, we actually would bring a designer to the
Super
sales
important.
meetings too.
Yeah.
Generally, it wasn't the first meeting, but you guys have developed a really good little niche. But again, you've gained traction through the relationships that you had. I mean, think about when
we've gained traction through relationship building.
Yep.
Again, the beginning we did do what we call dog and pony shows, or lunch and learns, whatever you want. We like to call them dog and ponies.
Yeah.
But and then for us, it was just reaching out to people. Not reaching out to sell something, but keeping in touch with people through little things, which we'll talk about a little bit later, some ideas on what to do with that. But then also our social media and our word of mouth. We ask for reviews. Yeah. And a lot of companies don't do that still.
Yes,
but
that is important.
Google reviews is something I look at it for everything. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to stay at a hotel, the first thing I'm going to look at is the Google reviews.
Yeah.
And if you're working with a a B2B business, right? You're a B2B business, and this business is your end consumer. So it's just their brick and mortar, right? Like versus building an apartment complex with a construction company. Like if you're working with that business owner, do you think they're just going to go with anyone? Or do you think they're going to read Google reviews to be like, oh, I don't want to work with them, or I do want to work with them? And for us, we send out, we entice people to leave those reviews and then send out a gift card as a thank you. Not to leave a good review, and they don't know we're going to do that. We just include it as part of a thank you card if they've left a review.
Can I just say one thing?
What?
You do realize that whole 5-minute spiel you just did was all sales.
It's sales, but it's not salesy.
It's sales activity, and it's not salesy.
Networking and sales are different. And I just sales has encompassed this. Sales to me is something so different. Sales is knocking on doors.
It's
sales,
not, though.
It is. Sales is knocking on doors. Sales is making cold calls. Sales is...
It is doing some of that stuff.
Sales is bidding on projects. Sales is... And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's just not me. But networking is building relationships.
But everything you just said is also part of the sales process, believe it or not. It is.
That's because salespeople have to network.
She just hates the word sales. You're a hater.
It's disgusting.
You're a hater.
No. But also,
I love salespeople.
I think it's important to note that salespeople have to network in order to build relationships to sell to people. It's just that for us, we don't bid on projects in the same way. We don't cold call. We don't go up to a project that has a sign saying coming soon or a sticker.
I loved that.
That is not us. And and it's fine if it is you. It's not me. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't like it. And I know that as a business owner, you should just be comfortable feeling uncomfortable. That's just how life is when you're a business owner. But that's just one aspect that I think for us, it's more of a genuine relationship that we're really nurturing when we're not trying to be salespeople.
Well, look,
and then also we don't have to pay commissions.
Yeah,
if
that's
there's
true.
if there's a financial gain to it.
Yes, and you guys have developed. You've figured out your channels. You've gotten tons of traction from them. You do an amazing job following up. You do an amazing job through the design process, and you've built a really, really loyal clientele, which is great. And I think at the end of the day, that is your, I'm not going to use the word sales, but that is your networking system that keeps your funnel full.
We have to pay the bills.
You have to pay the bills.
I'm not saying you don't have to reach out to people. It's just there's different approaches.
Yeah, there is.
But with either approach, I think it's super important that you have little reminders to let people know you're there.
Yeah.
And what are some of those little reminders that you gave out when you were, or that you gave to people? Like, how did you like subtly remind someone, oh, I'm still here? Was that solely on the salespeople, or did SignTech as a company do that?
I mean, we did it overall as a company too. And again, I think part of it was what we did with Habitat was huge. We put a lot of effort into that. So it exposed us really big to the community. There was a few other volunteer events that we did. Mm-hmm. Another one was called Barkitecture. And so
that's a fun one. And it still happens here in Austin.
Yeah, the local architectural association sponsors this thing where architects design dog houses, and we as the sign shop would build them and then would go to the big event, and they were auctioned off. And so we got to connect with tons of architects. Yeah. But I mean, I think you just have to, the bottom line is you have to be out there. And so like Tammy, maybe it's networking really heavily in a BNI group, or your Chamber of Commerce. Maybe it's getting involved in nonprofits and being an important part of that work in the community, definitely it's building really trusted partnerships, and involving, I like that you involve the whole team in that process too, whether it's project management and design and you as the owners. And it's, at the end of the day, again, I think you've got to think about yourself as a sales or networking organization, because
you don't have to.
Well, you don't have to, but
it is an option.
You can just be a hobbyist in your garage too.
No, that's not true. I don't consider myself a sales organization, and I have a very successful company. You can call it what you want. They're different things. It's different approaches, and not seeing that is really taking away an entire path from someone.
Oh no, I mean you
approaching it as you are a sales organization.
I think it's semantics, right? You're a networking organization.
I'm not. I'm a subject matter expert that provides solutions.
Education is another good pathway for selling, right? So you're educating your community, and
just like ministry is a great way to sell religion, right? And we're here.
So think of yourself as an organization that has tentacles in your community. So whether it's through educating a particular target, architects, general contractors, property managers, schools, whatever, about the processes and design and all that, or it's being involved in nonprofits, or maybe it's traditional sales team that goes out and involves themselves in BNI or whatever, different networking groups. The bottom line is building systems and around sales and networking is crucial if you want to scale your business, and figuring out what is going to stick, doubling down on it, getting traction from that, and keeping your funnel full. That's just my final pitch and my take on sales for the sign industry. And my lovely daughter here would never go work as a used car salesman.
No, could not think of a worse job. I would scrub the toilets at that used car place, but I would not sell a car.
And there you have it, folks.
For me, I think...
Any final thoughts here?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing is building relationships. Yeah. I think a lot of that is very similar, right? Networking is the one solid through line through sales and through not building a sales-centered organization. Make all the faces you want. I'm telling you.
They're good faces.
It's very different.
I think it's just semantics. I think you do an amazing job.
I don't need
selling.
you to pump
I think
me up.
I think you're selling yourself short.
You know what I really need you
you're
to do
selling
right
yourself
now
short.
is shut up so I can talk. That's what I need from you.
You're selling
Just
yourself
like
short.
literally stop opening your mouth. Wow. Anyway, I think that networking and building those relationships is extremely important. And I understand that is similar to considering yourself a sales organization and having salespeople and organizing that side of the business to be extremely quickly scalable. I grew my business a very different way. Mm-hmm. I did use networking because you have to, but I used very natural networking opportunities. I did not make cold calls. I refused to do that. And I don't have a sales staff. And it's because we like to control our own narrative. As the owners of our business, we like to make sure that the work that we're bringing in is work that we want to put out. And that's it.
That's great.
Salespeople, like I said, they have to pay the bills. And it's very important for some companies to have that. But for us, it just wasn't what we wanted. I think that, for us and how we made sure every single point of contact was memorable, mm-hmm. and every single interaction was useful. We just really thought through, that was our process, right? Like, how do you think through how that experience is, mm-hmm. for your customer or partner, which is what we call them. We like to make sure that we are the subject matter expert for signage for them. So when they have a problem that they're faced with, they don't try to solve it. They just call us. Yeah. And then we get to sell it twice, right? You get to sell the solution and you get to sell the thought process if you split out your design from your fabrication, and then you sell the actual product. Again, you have to sign contracts. So yeah, the word sales is in there. It's just very different approaches. And but it doesn't just stop there. For us, we make sure that we're very communicative throughout the process. Again, we are a partner to them. We are not here you're passed off to someone now. Sound familiar? Here you're passed off to someone now that you've written a check. That sounds like sales to me, but that's not how we operate. Our relationships are held throughout the whole experience. And then we write handwritten thank you cards for every single project when it's done, and we mail them out. We make sure that at the end of the year, we send out a great, very personalized gift that's not something we buy off a shelf ever. Ours are always very quirky. They're never pre-made baskets. We pick a theme, we build something around that theme, and then we send it out to our partners, both vendors and clients. Both are partners to us. And then we just make sure that every touch point is just, again, memorable and fun and meaningful. And I think that by doing that, you're building a trusting relationship. So I will say this, my closing words are this. I spent a half an hour telling you I am not a sales organization, but I do sell one thing. Trust. I sell trust. I sell a relationship. I build a relationship, and I build trust with people. And by doing that, they come to me as the expert, and they buy the things that I need them to buy so I can pay my employees.
Thank you so much for listening today.
Be sure to like and subscribe, and
follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram,
and stay
Apple,
tuned.
And Spotify. We're on all those now.
We're on all the things. Yeah. It's a lot of things. I actually don't really like that I'm out there that much because, again.
I want to say a special thank you to our editor, Chris Eddingtavo. Chris, you're a miracle worker with these videos, this craziness.
Most times.
We appreciate you.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
Bye.